Dear students, a very warm welcome and a very good morning to all of you. Today also we will have the video lesson. Kindly listen to the class. Just open your textbook and just go through the words. Just go through the lines as I explain. Okay. In the previous class, we saw how C.V. Raman develops his argument on saying that water is the real elixir of life. You know what is elixir? So it is the divine Amrita. So it will confer immortality. See, all these points are very important as regards to the exam. Sometimes they may ask the question, what is the real elixir? Or how it is explained, or to what it is compared to. So it is compared to the divine Amrita. Amrita means, what is divine Amrita? So that will confer immortality, that people won't die if they eat that Amrita. It is the belief that people don't die. But true elixir of life lies near to our hands. So it is just close to our hand. The real elixir is close at our hand. What is the real elixir? It's the most commonest of all liquids, called plain water. Okay. Now he explains his experience while he went to Egypt. So River Nile is so Egypt is said to be the product of River Nile. So it is there. That particular civilization, the Egyptian civilization, you must have learned in the social class, developed around or on the banks of River Nile. Why? Because it carries all the silt, the finest silt sand from all the Abyssinian, Abyssinia, and from the Central Africa. So it carries all those finest silt. That means the most fertile, finest sand is being, or sand or soil is being carried by the River Nile from Abyssinia and remote Central Africa. So and it is being deposited on the either sides of the River Nile. Thus, the land become fertile. So he says that he makes a comparison on the one side of the his site. On the one side it is a Libyan desert, on the other side it is a fertile land. Why the one side of Egypt, or the place where he stands, the one side is desert? Why? There is no water. On the other side it is fertile, like it is like a paradise. Why? Because it is full of greenery. Why? Because the existence of a river Nile. Okay, and we have seen so far, isn't it? I give this example and could give more others to emphasize that this common substance which we take for granted in our everyday life is the most potent and the most wonderful thing on the face of earth. It has played a role of vast significance in shaping the course of Earth's history and continues to play the leading role in the drama of life on the surface of our planet. So it continues to to be the most wonderful thing on the face of the earth. What? The real elixir, or the water, without which the human beings or the planet can't exist. Now we move on to the next page. Please take page number 18. Okay, fifth paragraph. There is nothing which adds so much to the beauty of the countryside as water. So he says, when you move on to a countryside, the water is that adds beauty to the countryside. Okay. be it just a little stream trickling over the rocks or a little pond by the wayside where the cattle quench their thirst of an evening. Okay, see, water adds beauty to the countryside. So, C.V. Raman develops another argument. It's not only the real elixir of life, which is very necessary for the sustenance of the planet and human beings, but it adds beauty to the countryside. So imagine a stream that trickle over the rocks and flows like that. How nice to see, Just seeing a stream itself is a beautiful experience, isn't it? Now, just to watch a pond by the wayside where cattle quench their thirst. So to see that that particular pond itself where the cattle come and drink water and quench their thirst, that itself is a beautiful sight, isn't it? Now, another thing, rain-fed tanks. Rain-fed tanks means the tanks that are being fed by rain, where you store the rainwater. So, there are some places where a lot of people, they make big tanks in which rain is being stored, rainwater is being stored. Okay, they are called rain-fed tanks that are so common in South India. In the South Indian area, region, you see a lot of rain-fed tanks of this sort. Okay, often so sadly neglected. So due to some government project or something, they construct the rain-fed tanks, but the thing is that they are sadly neglected. They are not given sufficient attention. So they are being neglected. They are not being used. Okay, in their maintenance are a cheering sight when they are full. Okay, see, they are neglected in their maintenance. They are not looked after or taken care very well. But though they are not taken care very well, those rain-fed tanks, when they are full, it is a beautiful sight to see. They are of course shallow. Shallow means they are not there's not much depth for that particular kind of tanks. It may have only maybe a few feet of depth. Okay, it's shallow in depth, but this is less evident since the water is silt laden and throws the light back. Okay, so since it is silt laden, the rain-fed tanks, they are constructed on the surface of the earth, of the land, and the silt is silt from various region comes and fills the tank. When the rain is there, a lot of rainwater flows through ruts to these rain-fed tanks. Ruts means you see a line. When it heavily rains, you see a line through which the water flows. They are called ruts, and there will be small pit. The line, there will be a line because of the flow of the water, and they are called ruts. So this silt, the finest sand, will be carried through these ruts to these rain-fed tanks, and the rain-fed tank is it is full of water, but you cannot see the depth of it. Why? Because the water has a different color because of the mud of that particular region. Okay, so that is why C.V. Raman is saying they are shallow, but it is less evident. That shallowness is less evident. The depth is less evident because since the water is silt laden, it is loaded by silt. Silt means that finest soil which is being carried from that particular location. Okay, hope you have understood. See, this is a rain-fed tank. Suppose I will draw a picture of it. Suppose this is a rain-fed tank which you dig. It is not, this is land, and you dig this area, and the water, when the rain comes, all this water will flow from different places. The water will flow to this particular this particular tank. So when you look at it, you see different color. See that that tank has a the water has a red color. Suppose it is, if it no if it if if the entire soil of that particular region is red in color, normally the water in this particular tank would be red. If it is light brown, the tanks the water of the color will be brown. Why? Because all this silt from all this fertile soil, fine soil from this area is being deposited in the tank. That is why all these rain-fed tanks, they are different in their colors. So they have different colors. It depends on how that particular region is and what kind of land and soil that area has. So it depends on that. Okay, now you see, these tanks play a vital role in South Indian agriculture. So this water, for what it is being used, they are used for an agricultural purpose. Some of these tanks are surprisingly large, and it is a beautiful sight to see the sunrise and set over on of them, over one of them. Okay, so when the sun, so though it is neglected, though it is silt laden, though it is abandoned, though it is not being used for agriculture, so they are surprisingly large and beautiful. They are beautiful and large. So when the sun rise and when the sun set, see that reflection, no, that reflection adds beauty to our eyes. So when you look at it, you see different color and the sunrise and sunset. So it is a beautiful sight to see. Okay, water in a landscape may be compared to the eyes in a human face. This is an important point. So to what the water is compared to, to what water in a landscape. So water in a landscape may be compared to eyes in a human face. That's very, here it is a simile. Why it is a simile? Because it is compared to the eyes in a human face. That is the comparison. Maybe compared to eyes in a human face. It reflects the mood of the hour. Okay, being broad and gay when the sun shines, turning to dark and gloomy when the sky overcast. So our eyes, looking to our eyes, the others can easily understand our mood, whether we are happy, whether we are sad, whether we are sick. All these could be identified looking to our eyes. So C.V. Raman is telling that looking to these rain-fed tanks, we come to know about the mood of that particular area. Okay, the color. Okay, looking and also in the sunrise and then sunset, and when there is there is cloud, the rain-fed tanks will look gloomy. When there is sunshine, it will look pleasant. Okay, in the daytime you see the blue sky over there, and it is a happy sight. It's a beautiful sight. It is an enchanting sight. And when it is about to rain, it has got a different mood. So the mood of the atmosphere, the mood of the entire region, the mood of the climate, everything is reflected in the rain-fed tanks. Thus it is being taught. C.V. Raman brings the argument here that these rain-fed tanks are these rain-fed tanks, or this water in this particular rain-fed tanks reflects the mood of the particular locality and the climate. Thus water in a landscape, in this particular landscape, whether it is in the rain-fed tanks or in a pond, it could be in a pond, wherever be, it reflects the entire mood of that particular area. Light or shadow or overcast, or the overcast means it is, when it's about to rain, there is no light and all. So even that is being reflected in the water. Thus C.V. Raman says it is just like human eye, because eye reflect the mood of that person. In the same way, water in a landscape reflects the mood of that particular area, region. Okay, hope you have understood. And now we move on to the sixth paragraph. One of the most remarkable facts about water is its power to carry silt or finely divided soil in suspension. Okay. Uh, what is one of the remarkable fact about water? It is the its power. So this water has a power to carry silt. What is silt? Silt is the finely divided soil in suspension, in the movement. Okay. So the finely divided soil in suspension. So that small element of soil is called a silt. That is in suspension, means that goes away with the water. Okay. This is the origin of the characteristics color of the water in rain-fed tanks. So why the water in in the rain-fed tanks gets different color? Because it depends on what kind of silt it is being carried. Okay, so just as I told you, if this is the rain-fed tanks, here you have all these kind of ruts. When the rain comes, the entire, this maybe there may be forest and all. So this water is being carried to these rain-fed tanks through the small ruts. So and this rain-fed tank will get the exact color of this particular region. Hope you have understood. Okay, that is how the rain-fed tanks in South India have different color. It's not the same color. It varies depending on what kind of soil is around. This color varies. Color will be different with the nature of the earth in the catchment area. Catchment area means this entire area is called catchment area. So this is rain-fed tanks. This is catchment area. So the color of this particular water in the rain-fed tanks will depend on the color of this particular catchment area, and is most vivid immediately after a fresh inflow, flowing rain. Okay, immediately after a heavy rain, you will see the color. Okay, swiftly flowing water can carry large and heavy particles. So if the rain is very heavy, that water can carry even bigger elements, not only fine silt, but it can carry even large and heavy particles. Okay, the finest particles, however, remain floating with the liquid in spite of their greater density and area, and are of course extremely small, but uh, their number is also great. Okay, so just explaining about why and how this silt is floating over the water. It comes up because they are very small particles. That is why they float over the water. Okay, hope you have understood. Now we move on to the seventh paragraph. Okay, the flow of water has undoubtedly played a great role and a beneficent one in the geological process by which the soil on the earth's surface has been formed from the rocks of its crust. So even in the geological process, what is meant by geological process? Geological process by which the soil of the earth's surface has been formed. How the soil of earth's surface is being formed? So in the formation of the soil, water has an important role to play. That is the argument he brings here. Because it is the water that breaks the rock and its crust, and slowly the mud is being formed, for which water and the rain plays a great role. The same agency, however, under appropriate conditions, can also play a destructive part and wash away the soil, which is the foundation of all agriculture. So, this heavy rain can also have a negative impact on the particular land. How? When the rain is very heavy, what will happen? The entire soil, the fertile soil, will be taken away and deposited in some other places. Okay, if the landscape is slanting, no, whatever manure you put in your plot, it will be carried away with the water, with the rainwater, isn't it? And the finest silt and the fertile soil will be taken away because of the heavy outflow of water. Okay, and if allowed to proceed unchecked, it can have the most disastrous effect on the life of the country. So if we are not attending to this problem, if we are not checking, if we are not making check dams, and if we are not careful enough, all this can affect the it can have a disastrous effect on the country and its economy. How? Because all the crops will be down due to the heavy outflow of water, and it will lack fertility, and normally the crops and everything will fall. The problem of soil erosion. So that process is called soil erosion. The soil is being eroded, is being taken away with the heavy rain or rainwater. So soil erosion is one of serious import in various countries, and especially in many parts of India. So soil erosion is one of the main problem that India faces in many parts of India. The conditions under which it occurs and the measures by which it can be checked deserve a close study. So we have to make a close study. We have to make some analysis. We have to make some serious study regarding how this soil erosion could be checked and controlled. Hope you have understood what we have discussed today. So kindly go through the video lesson and just open your textbook and watch closely and hear the explanation of what is in the text, and try to understand the main idea of this important lesson. You can expect at least 2 important questions from this lesson. If it is MCQ questions like this year, you can expect 2 questions, or else there will be some paragraph questions or 5 marks questions or 4 marks questions from this very important lesson. So try to understand it line by line, okay, how he develops the argument. So have a nice day. God bless you.